Okay, welcome back, everybody. You guys watched this video right here, okay? And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to go in a little bit more depth with the rock cycle and the different types of rocks, okay? So as you saw in the previous video or previous slides, you had three different types of rock. You have igneous rock, you have metamorphic rock, and you have sedimentary rock, okay? Now, all three of them vary greatly. Okay, what I want to do is I want to talk about them more specific. Okay, this video here that you watched gave some details on some of the rocks, but I'm going to go into more detail. Okay, so first off, following slides are about sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic. Okay, all formed in different ways. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is sedimentary rock. First off, there's three different types of sedimentary rock. Okay, so there's three different types of rock. Okay, sedimentary, metamorphic, and igneous. But there's also three different types of sedimentary rock. Okay, first off, clastic rock. Okay, so this is what we call rock that's formed by Earth's weathering and erosion of the materials. Okay, now all three of them are done this way, but specifically, classic rock is a rock where it gets weathered, gets broken down, okay? And what ends up happening is that it is then settled into an area, cemented together with what we call ions that are a part of the water. And what it does is it cements it together, okay? So we'll go through all those different forms of rock formation in a while, okay? So, classic rock, okay. I'm going to also show you a video. I'm going to do a demonstration, okay. This demonstration is going to show you how weathering takes place, how erosion takes place, okay, how rock is settled into whether it's water or wind that's moving it, okay. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in more detail, okay. First off, organic, okay. So you have classic rock, which is the formation of rock being weathered or moved. Okay, weathered and then moved. Okay, organic rock. Okay, so there are two different types of ones that we could really need to talk about. First off, coal. Okay, this is where dead plants will be compressed really, really tightly deep in the Earth's surface. Okay. And those dead plants that are growing in a swampy area, I'll probably do a quick little video with the whiteboard and show you how this occurs. Okay, so coal is obviously a material that we use for energy, and that used to be dead plants that get compressed, and I will talk about more of that more later. Okay, limestone. Okay, limestone is made from dead marine life, okay? I will show you a visual of that as well, okay? So what ends up happening is that we have dead animals, okay? They used to be alive. They're floating around in the ocean, okay? They're floating around, and then what ends up happening is that they reproduce, okay? And then eventually they die. They settle to the earth's, to the ocean floor or to the water. That it could be fresh water, but mostly oceanic water, ends up floating to the bottom, and then what ends up happening is it just builds up more and more and more, compresses down, and then it turns into limestone. Okay, that's an organic material. Okay, now chemical is another form of limestone, and what ends up happening is that these dead marine life ends up getting mixed in with minerals that are dissolved in the water. They form crystals, and then they eventually, what ends up happening is that the water evaporates. When the water evaporates, it leaves behind these chemical ions, okay, that then end up becoming crystals, and then they become limestone, okay? Very similar to what's happened in Indiana. Okay, Indiana is if you dig down deep in the Earth's surface in Indiana, especially if you go like to Bloomington, you're going to see a lot of limestone. Okay, So, how does this work? How does sedimentary rock work? First off, there's weathering. So, we have a rock. It's weathered by wind, by water. We have mechanical, we have physical. We have mechanical, we have physical. We also have chemical. Okay, mechanical is the wind blowing up against the rock. It weathers it. Okay, water flowing over a rock. It weathers it. Glaciers moving, tumbling underneath the glacier is rocks, and they get rounded off, and they get weathered and broken down into smaller pieces. Ocean waves weather the rock. Okay, so then you also have chemical rock or chemical weathering. Okay, so what ends up happening is that we have acids in the rain, what we call acid rain. That's from the burning of fossil fuels, and the acid gets in the water and it breaks down rock very, very slowly. Okay, then you also have other types of rain or chemical reactions where you have roots or you have worms, you have other types of animals that will break down rocks slowly and slowly. That's called a chemical reaction. Okay, so erosion is the movement of that rock. So what ends up happening is that through gravity, through wind, and through water, it eventually moves it down downhill, so to speak. And as it's moving it downhill, eventually it stops. Okay, and then this is called deposition. Okay, that would be the settling of the material. So the wind stops blowing, the rock stays there. Okay, and then water moves it. Once the water slows down, let's say water is moving down a mountain. Okay, it picks up rocks, and as it's moving down, it ends up going into a lake. Okay, or at the mouth of the lake, that the materials that was in the water settles, and then it becomes an area where it can be cemented and compacted. Okay, cementation and compaction. So what ends up happening is the water stops moving, but inside that water are ions, and those ions mix with those particles of rock. Okay, and then through time they compact and they turn into a rock. Okay, so if I go back, that's a good example of classic rock. Okay, now all of these rocks can be changed into each other. Okay, so sedimentary rock can be turned into igneous rock, and it can also turn into metamorphic rock, and all the different ones. I talked about that in the last video. Okay, so here's some more examples of the chemical and the mechanical features of the different types of rock weathering. Okay, from larger to smaller rocks. Okay, I'm not going to go over this anymore, other than you guys understand this. And obviously, if you have any questions, please canvas message me. Okay, so this is where you're going to see that link, and make sure you watch and take notes on the videos. Okay, and I will put this link on here, and I hope you guys enjoy the videos. Once again, just if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, I will see you on the next lesson. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a demonstration of this material. I've built basically like a simulation of what happens when rock gets weathered, and we'll talk about that more. Okay, I'll see you guys next time.